what's up? It's your boy Ritz, and today I'm joined here with So as you read by the title, today we're going to be finally filming the video that you guys have been asking for ever since we announced our baby boy is here. You guys have been asking for the labour and delivery story. If you guys watched us on social media or anything like that, you would know that we keep mentioning we're at the hospital for 11 days. So you guys want to know why were you at the hospital for 11 days, what happened and everything like that. So today is going to be that video. So we're going to take you guys back all the way to before we even went to the hospital. So before we went to the hospital, what were we told?
We were at a scan appointment and they let us know obviously beforehand, like, you know, get ready, you could be induced at 37 weeks. So we were prepared for that kind of. So that scan, I actually turned 36 weeks.
Yeah, and then the guy said he was meant to tell us the day we were meant to come for Rez to be induced, but instead he said, oh, your baby's growing a little bit better. He was considered a very tiny baby, so that's why Rez needed to be induced for him to be born. There's no way that they were letting it get to naturally 40 weeks. They had to get him out at 37 weeks.
They don't take the risk because if it's a tiny baby, which he was, they're at risk of being stillborn. So that's why they had to induce me.
Yeah, so that appointment came and they told us he's growing fine, just come in for a scan next week. So us coming in for a scan, like in our head that meant, well, if we're going in for a scan, they're obviously not going to call us in that week. But then we went in for that scan exactly that day. Rez turned 37 weeks and they tell us
he gave us the option of coming in tomorrow,
yeah,
or the day after.
Yeah, so we went on a Tuesday for a scan. He was telling us you can come either Wednesday and Thursday. I was just like, next week or this week? He goes, no, this week, which is basically tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah,
so basically we went in with all of our hospital bag stuff and everything. 2 days later we had to be prepared in 2 days instead of being prepared in a week. And obviously we were really prepared with our hospital bag.
Luckily we packed and everything. I think people started saying, why are you packing so early, blah blah blah, but like, honestly, everyone's journey is different, so don't listen to anyone. Do what you think is right and always be prepared, because anything can happen.
On the morning of Rez, she had to be induced. We had to wake up at 9 o'clock and Rez had to call and make a phone call and say, is a hospital bed available? But at 6 o'clock you started having pains. Remember those sharp pains and you woke up?
Oh, 6 a.m. Yeah, I started getting really bad sharp pains and like I couldn't like move or breathe properly. It was really painful. I don't actually know what it was. I still don't think it was a contraction.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't know what it was. It was very scary, but like it was the day that we were supposed to go into the hospital to be induced anyway, so I wasn't too bothered about it. But yeah, so Rez called at 9 o'clock. They didn't have a bed available. 12 o'clock, no bed available. I think 3 o'clock. By the way, they told us when to call. They told us to call at 9 a.m. to check if there's any beds available so they can call, like, get us in. There wasn't, so that's why he's saying we kept calling. So at 12 o'clock they told us to call. There was no bed available, and then I think around 3 o'clock we were sitting eating lunch. We literally were ready to go at 9 o'clock and it was 3 o'clock. We were packed up and ready and just waiting.
When we done our COVID test beforehand, we had to do a COVID test beforehand. We were told that we had to be there for 3 days after he's born. That day we ended up going in at 6 o'clock. So they called us coming at 6 o'clock. So we went at 6 o'clock. They took us to a room and they started putting that machine on you.
They strapped me to a machine. You'd left to go to your mom's house to eat and stuff and bring me back dinner. By the time you came back, they had already put the what's it called? Pessary or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah.
Pessary.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
So it's like a little, not a tablet, but something, which is the first step they take to induce labor. So they basically gave me that, and then, so once he arrived with dinner and everything, that's when my pains and contractions started kicking in randomly. It started off as cramps, like really bad period cramps, and then slowly it started becoming like really like unbearable. So that day they gave me medication. I can't remember the name, but there's only some type of medication they can give you. There's not that many type of medications they can give you for that first stage, I'm saying. So basically I was in pain for that whole the whole night. Into the morning. Usually I think they leave that in for 6 hours, but with me they done it for 24 hours. So I was in pain, and because it wasn't natural, the pains came like whoosh, like for me. So, and
the paracetamol was like, was it helping?
It was not helping. I was in so much pain. I had to literally breathe through the thing, and I did ask for gas and air, but I think because I wasn't dilated, I wasn't allowed it or something. I'm not sure.
No, they said the first stage is, I think, the paracetamols. If that doesn't work, then later they give that.
And it didn't work, and I did call them in, but they didn't do anything about it, which is really weird. And I didn't have the strength to fight, because it was every single minute my contractions. I kid you not. Like, he was there. It was literally every minute, and it wasn't supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be every 3 minutes or something like that.
I was sitting there with my laptop thinking, it's okay, nothing's gonna happen today, and then that happened.
Yeah, so I was getting contractions like crazy. It was really, really, really painful, and I had to deal with that for the first day we were there, up until the next morning. So the next morning they came in and they checked. So once they took it out, they said, okay, we can't keep this in any longer. Your pains are like too crazy. Your body's gonna get exhausted. Your body's getting exhausted because the contractions are way too constant. And
a 6-hour break.
Yeah, so they gave me a 6-hour break, I think. Yeah. And then they came and gave a gel. That was the next step to induce labor. Weirdly, that didn't actually give me pains as much as the necessary thingy did. That was absolutely a nightmare. I don't even know how I slept that night. Well, I technically didn't, but yeah. So the next day, yeah, they gave that. They gave the gel, and they said that my body's really, really exhausted. They gave it to me twice. Was it twice or 3 times?
No, they basically give it to you twice. If there's still nothing, they give it 3 times. Yeah. So I don't know if they gave it twice or 3 times. You should remember.
I can't remember. I was clocking in and out of my brain. Like I was.
Yeah, and there was a point where they gave a 6-hour break. They done a little something, and then they gave another 6-hour break.
Yeah.
So that
gel. It was a gel. Yeah.
So that second day was basically
another day of trying to get induced and being more dilated and stuff. And so I did dilate, and I think I was stuck on 2.
No, you were stuck on 1, and I think the next day you went to 2.
The next day, yeah.
Yes, day 3 came by, and then Rez became 2 centimeters dilated. So she became 2 centimeters dilated. Suddenly, they started to move us to another room. They wanted to move us to another room.
To the delivery room.
To the delivery room, which we thought, okay, she's gonna give birth tomorrow.
So they took me to that room. Because I was 2 centimeters dilated, it was safe enough to break the waters, so they did. But before they done that, they said they're gonna put me on the drip, which is the last step to induce labor, to make it hurry up, basically. I don't know what it's called, but basically they said, like, do you want epidural and stuff, because that drip, for anyone knows, is like a killer. Like the contractions that you get from that is a different level, basically, because it's not natural or anything, so it's more painful. And I can confirm it was definitely painful, and I wouldn't have got through it without the epidural. So yeah, I got epidural, for those of you guys asking, and I think it saved me. It allowed me to sleep whenever I could, basically, and it helped me deal with pain. And whenever it was wearing off a little, I could feel the contractions, and it wasn't even, I'd say it was 10% of the contraction pain, and I found it hard to breathe through them. So I don't know how I would have dealt if I was feeling the whole contraction. But yeah, the epidural really helped. Obviously there's so many like negative side effects that can come with it and stuff, but honestly it's all down to you. If you can go through the contractions, you can breathe through them, you can work through them without going mental, you don't need to get it. But if you know yourself, so get whatever you think is best for you, basically. I knew I'm not going to be able to go through it, so I decided from the beginning that I want it done anyway. So they didn't really have to convince me. They do try to convince you though, which is really weird.
They go through the risks as well. They say this could happen, but it's 1 in like 500,000 or 250,000 or 100,000 or 50,000. They go through so many risks, but like they make it seem like, well, only like 1 out of 200, like 250,000 people do it.
I'm not gonna lie, when they were going through the risk, I got so scared.
Yeah, I did as well.
And I started thinking, oh, I don't think I want it. I'm really scared now. Like it sounds serious. Like it's very serious. The side effects that you can get from it is like lifelong things, basically, and there's nothing you can do about it if it does happen to you. That kind of did put me off, honestly, but I really thought about it, and I thought, no, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do it. And I'm so happy I got it done. I was so scared to get epidural done because everyone makes it seem like big needle and it's so painful, but like I would say
it was painful for you. I remember.
No, it was painful, but when I say that was the least painful thing out the whole labor and delivery, you can imagine, like it was painful, but it really helped. So I'm really happy I got that.
So after this epidural went into Rez, the drip carried on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a thing, and then they keep giving you doses.
Yeah, they keep doubling the doses of the drip. So basically this drip went into Rez, and from then onwards they weren't leaving us alone. They didn't leave us in a room alone. They didn't leave Rez alone. Usually they come and they check up on you, but in this instance there was 2 people sitting there.
Sitting right there now.
They're literally sitting there, and they're watching everything you do. They come in every 30 minutes to press the machine and double the doses of the...
Yeah, they're not allowed to leave you alone, I think.
Yeah. So at that stage they couldn't leave us alone. So basically that day I didn't eat the whole day. We were told, you're lucky if he's born tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So obviously we would think that's probably the earliest he could be born, tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll come tomorrow afternoon. So day 3 I went to my mom's house. I was like, I'm gonna eat dinner, let me spend like another 20 minutes with them. And then
I wasn't allowed to eat, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She wasn't allowed to eat nothing. just Lucozade Sport and water. That was it. I felt so bad, so I went to my mom's house. I went and ate. I was chilling there. Suddenly Red says like, they're saying he's coming, like they can see his head, and like you need to come right now. And at that moment I wasn't doing anything. I was planning to come soon anyway, but I ran to the hospital. Then I went into the room and no one was there. It was just Res, but they went off to do grab
grab stuff.
Because they were waiting for me.
They were panicking and running and getting everything ready, and they were trying to do it in a way where I don't get panicked, but like they were hurrying. I forgot to also mention the epidural started making me shiver and everything. Do you remember? I was shivering.
Oh, you went cold.
I went cold and I was shivering so much, and they put a cannula into this hand, and it was paining. It was hurting. Like I couldn't move my hands. We left it in. Like they didn't do anything about that until the last very minute. After hours of being on the drip and having the epidural to help me with the contractions and stuff, they came. All the doctors came in and they were like, okay, we just want to check how much you're dilated and stuff. So they checked and they're like, your 10 meters dilated. We're ready to like go. Like it's showtime. Like, huh?
Centimeters.
Yeah.
Not meters.
What did I say?
10 meters.
So I was 10 centimeters dilated. I was apparently ready to push, but I couldn't feel the contraction, so I wouldn't have known because of the epidural. Was really helping me. And they're like, where's your husband? Do you want to call him? Blah blah blah. I was like, oh okay, like how long do I have? I was like, oh okay. I woke up a bit more and I didn't realize like how quickly it had to happen. I was like, okay, how long? Like half an hour? And then they're like, no, now, like call him now and get him to come now. And then I was like, okay. And then I called him and then he was like, okay, I'm coming 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, 20 minutes. The nurses kept asking me like, okay, how far is he now? Like, is he coming? And I was like, yeah, he said it's like 15 minutes away. He's like, no, call him and tell him to come now.
I can't make the Uber start flying suddenly, you know.
I was like, okay, but he's coming, like his finger. And then I called him again. I was like, hurry up, like they're telling me to hurry up. I called you at least like 2-3 times in there. I wasn't panicking. I was actually really calm at the time, but like they started panicking me because they're like, tell him to hurry up, the baby's gonna come without him otherwise. They got me to call him again, and then at that time he was actually like 5 minutes away. So I was like to them, okay, he's 5 minutes away, he's coming. Yeah, and he literally like ran
up into the lift. I was running. After that I came in the room and then they all started coming. They were telling you to do like breathe and push and
so before the doctors came in, there's a midwife there that does that stuff as well, obviously. So she said, okay, like slowly start pushing now, because obviously it takes time for his head to come like at the edge. I started pushing and then all the doctors started rushing in. You came in before the doctors rushed in, and then like you were there, and then we discussed a few other things like with the doctor. Like
there was 2 things. So the first thing was when you're pushing, they said they'll need to cut you, or is that, no. Okay,
yeah, so it's got a name. I asked them like, okay, what do I do not to tear? Can you please tell me when to push, when to stop? I don't want to tear, blah blah blah. So the lady said to me, I'm going to be truthful with you, you're gonna tear and it's probably going to be really bad. So I probably would have got a 4th degree tear. So is it okay if we go forward with the episiotomy? And I really did not want to be snipped. I actually put that down in my birth plan. I wanted to avoid that, and I knew in that moment like I had to just say yes or no. Which one do I want, a tear or a episiotomy? Either way I'm getting stitched up, either way it's going to get messed up, but episiotomy is more safer in that sense because they're controlling the cut. With a tear, like you can tear from any angle. I got an episiotomy. I did get stitches. The delivery I had was natural birth, but it's called a kiwi birth, a kiwi delivery or something like that, because they used a little cup thingy to pull him out. I couldn't push him. Like I was pushing him, but it wasn't enough strength, and that was mainly because I had epidural and I couldn't feel my contractions. If I could feel my contractions, I would have been able to push a bit harder because that's what helps you push, but I couldn't feel my contractions. They had to tell me, okay, you're having a contraction, push now, which was very helpful and stuff, but it wasn't helping me push very hard, and I was already like low on energy because I couldn't eat. Oh, we didn't even mention that day I ate breakfast or something and I vomited that out, and that was the last thing I ate. And then they told me, okay, you're not allowed to eat anymore, but like I didn't think that it was from that moment.
You had nothing in your body.
I had nothing in my body. I didn't have any food. Yeah, just water and that Lucozade. So thank you to everybody who recommended it, because it was very helpful. That was the only thing I was running on, and I was already exhausted from the 2 days of labor, from all the contractions and stuff.
Okay, so they put that thing on his head, and then in the video towards the end, if you guys watched, I'm talking about the labor and delivery vlog, not the story time. This is the story time. So in the video, the lady, or you can't see her, but you can see me and you can hear. So the lady's pulling him out. So all those noises that you hear, all those moaning, anything that you hear is not res. That's actually the lady's doing just as much strength. She's doing this she's pulling him out literally.
Yeah, because they have to be gentle, but like at the same time they have to do it right, like because they don't want to, they can kill the baby.
Yeah, so literally
she was like hyperventilating.
Yeah, and
louder than me.
So all that noise was basically her, and on top there was at least 5 people in the room.
No, more than 5. More. There was students, midwives, doctors.
They were inviting student midwives. They were saying,
they didn't ask us, but
no, they asked me. I said it's okay, bring them.
Why did you not say no? Why would you invite everyone?
No, I didn't invite everyone, but the lady said she can't do anything, we have to watch her, so they're not gonna let the student midwife do anything without them watching. They're just learning. They're not really doing anything.
I didn't want a show, and there was a show.
Okay.
There was no men in the room, just like how we wanted, so that was okay.
Yeah, so basically he was born, and then I watched him come out. I saw his head first, and then I see a bunch of hair. He was born, and then they weighed him, and then they said he's a small baby, so they're gonna have to definitely keep him for 3 days.
I was conscious, but I didn't know half the things that were going on. A lot of people asked that, oh, was it painful? Yeah, of course it's going to be painful, and your body is exhausted, and mentally you go through it. With no food, the energy, your whole body, head to toe, every inch of your muscle is working hard, and you don't get a break. And it's not just the time, it doesn't come down to the time when you push. Like, your body goes through so much before you start pushing. I don't know what I was trying to say, but a lot of people asked that, oh, was it hard? Was it painful? Like, yes, it was. That shouldn't even be a question. Birth is never easy. Like, even if a woman says like, yeah, it was, you know, not too hard, blah blah blah, like, I think that's just someone like being brave and saying like, you know. But the epidural definitely helped me cut most of the pain out, and I used gas and air a lot. I think I'm actually addicted to it.
She was loving it. They were like, no, you can't do this anymore.
I was begging for the gas and air while trying to like push. I don't know why. I felt like it would give me courage, because I'm a person, like, if I can block it out mentally, I can focus on what they're telling me to do, like it would help, blah blah blah. That's what the gas and air does basically. It doesn't make you high, but it makes you be able to block out the pain. So I was using that a lot.
I cut his cord as well, so off camera, after he was born, they asked me, do you want to cut the cord, and they gave me a scissor with like had blood all over it. So yeah, I cut the cord. It was really weird feeling. It felt very
rubbery.
Felt illegal. Like, I felt like I was cutting a human apart, like, which I obviously was, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like, I don't know, I'm happy I done it, but it was kind of like a weird feeling. Like, it felt like I was murdering someone. Like, that's how I felt. I felt like I was cutting someone's finger off. Like,
no, you have to do that. I did ask him before, like, we even went to the hospital, oh, do you want to cut the cord? He's like, no, I'm so scared. And then in the moment he said yes, and he'd done it. Are you happy you done it though? Like, it was an experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it was nice. It was cool.
It's a cool experience. Oh, the placenta came out. They're like, do you want to see it? I was like, yeah, okay. And then they just held it up and showed me. I was like, oh, it was so cool. And it was almost the same size as him. From the starting to push to the end, I don't really remember. It was a blur for me until the moment where they pulled him out and they put him on my chest. That's when I started crying, and I stared at him. I was like, oh my god, like, that's mine.
I started tearing up too. On the camera, it looks like I'm already tearing up in the moment when Rez is pushing. I don't know why from that angle it looked like I was tearing. I started tearing, but it wasn't on camera. On the camera, it looks like I'm already crying before he comes out, but I honestly started tearing when I saw him like crying, and his hands and everything are like moving. It was so cute.
It was such an amazing moment. I don't think anything it will ever be. And I think once he asked me like, what's the most special moment of your life, and I said that it hasn't come, and I think like that was my most special moment. Like, no, even then, remember I told you, like, I don't think my most special moment has come yet. I think it's like when my baby's going to be born, and it honestly was like, I don't think anything can beat that moment. Like when they put him on my chest, like I looked at him, I'm getting like thing in my throat now, just from speaking about it.
Should we take a break?
No, it's okay. That moment, nothing can beat it. It was so incredible. Honestly, when they say that, like, all the pain and stuff that you're going through, like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you still feel everything and stuff, but like that feeling does override it all. So I understand that now. When people say that, I understand it, but it's not the way they're saying it. Like, oh, you're gonna forget everything. Like, no, you won't. You'll remember everything. You feel everything. It's still happening, but your mind will come off of it a bit more, and you'll ease up, and you'll realize like there's something way more precious here than what's going on now, like, you know, and your brain kind of cuts whatever's going on. Because after that is when they were like, they had to stitch me up, and I had to take gas and air for that moment. So they took him, and they done whatever they needed to do. Ritz was over there with him, so Ritz didn't get to see the placenta. They pulled the placenta out after. I don't think
I wanted to see that.
No, you should have seen it. It was so cool. I don't know why I found it cool, but it was so weird. It looked like a organ liver kind of thing. Like, anyway.
Okay, so you would think that the 3 days of giving birth, the pushing was the hardest part. So you might think, where's the 11 days? That was the 3 days.
That was 3 days, yeah.
Okay, so that was 3 days. So after that, we were taken to another room, another ward. Basically a shared ward. So basically it's one room with a bunch of curtains in between. You can hear everyone, anyone crying, anyone on the phone, anything, you can hear everything. And obviously the other 3 days we had our own room, our own toilet, our own shower and everything like that. So this is where everything started, all the craziness. Okay, so from here we're gonna start with day 0. So the day he's born, let's say it's day 0 now. So that night everyone was crying. All the babies were crying around us. We didn't know how to feed him. We didn't know how to do his nappy. We were so confused. The midwife was coming. There was one midwife, she was really nice. She was helping. She really cared, and like you could tell she loved her job. And she was one of the few that actually you can tell they genuinely like their job. They're not there because they have to be there. She actually loved what she was doing and she loved the babies, you can tell. Obviously we have to be there for 3 days. So on the 3rd day, they only let you go home if he hasn't lost a certain amount of weight, because when they're that small they lose weight after they're born. Day 3 they weighed him and they said that his weight is lost a bit too much, so they can't let us go home. And they started suspecting by his face there's something called jaundice, which is really common amongst newborn babies. Like this, how do you describe it? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like an illness. It's not too serious if you just treat it. So in most of the cases it goes away by itself, so it's not too serious, but it could be serious if it's not treated. Yeah, so day 4 came by, we fed him properly, we tried to do our best to make sure our baby puts on weight, feeding on time, everything like that. But day 5 came, day 5 of him being born, so 5 days of his life. You forgot to say on day 3, so we were mentally prepared to stay for 3 days because they told us, you know, we have to stay for 3 days, there's no option of that. So we were prepared for that. And then on day 3 we found out they're gonna weigh him, and if he's not thin then we're gonna have to stay extra 2 days. So after they weighed him, we found out, okay, he's lost way too much and it's a dangerous amount, they're not gonna let us go home, it's not safe. So that's when we found out extra 2 days, then 5 days went by basically.
Okay, yeah, so now it's day 5 of him being born. So after day 5 of him being born, his weight was okay. It was under the line of being too much weight loss, so he was fine. But then they found out that he has jaundice. So jaundice is, I don't know, I'll put it on the screen.
Just Google it. That's the best way anyone can explain it.
Yeah, it's this light thing. So basically they put this blue light on him, they cover his eyes with a mask. It was the saddest thing ever to watch him be under the light with the mask. Or he could be in front of us, he could be fed at any time, we could pick him up at any time, but the light has to kind of be dragged with him.
And he had to be all naked too.
Yeah, all naked.
And that was sad because he's a newborn and like they feel cold and stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, so day 6 goes by, he still had the blue light on him overnight.
He had that for 2 days, isn't it?
He had that for 2 days.
Yeah,
so day 7 comes, we're waiting, we're ready to go home. We've been here for about 10 days already. We want to go home. He was born 1 week ago. We want to go home. So we waiting all day for the doctor. The doctor didn't come. We've been waiting since the morning, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Suddenly the doctor turns up and they want to prick his feet. By the way, this whole 7 days they were pricking his feet.
Every single day, at least 3 to 5 times in the day.
To check for the jaundice.
On his heel. Oh my god, it was the worstest thing ever. Like, yeah, to check his jaundice level and stuff. So yeah, it was the worst. I had so many breakdowns, mainly because I was, you know, trying to recover as well, and I was going through a lot of pain, keeping up with medication. Hormone levels are crazy too.
She wants to kill all the workers.
Well, yeah, once it got past the 7-day mark, I would say I started losing my patience. That's when I really started wanting to go home, but I knew we don't have option. We have to stay until his jaundice goes down.
Yeah.
So we did that patiently while breaking down and eating their disgusting food.
I got food from outside and stuff, but it's not the same when you're in a hospital bed and you're bed bound and you got a baby crying here, but you can't even look after your baby because like you don't have the energy. But if you're at home, you could recover and like do better, I think. So okay, so day 7 comes of him being born and they don't want to let us home. They want us to keep him for 1 more night and see if he gains weight. So that's stupid. How is a newborn baby gonna suddenly gain weight overnight? You're telling me overnight he's gonna gain like half a kg or something? Like, he's not gonna gain that weight overnight. So they were telling us, please just stay 1 more night. And obviously when they say please stay 1 more night, we knew in our head it's probably gonna turn into another week. So basically they're telling us to stay longer, but at this point Rez was going crazy mentally and physically. Like, she was going crazy. So we told the lady we don't have to stay here, and she said no, you don't have to stay here, you can leave if you want.
Medically there wasn't anything wrong with him anymore. Like, his weight weight was just like, what was it, like
0.5% over
5 or something,
is it 0.5%?
Something stupid, like low. She said it with her own mouth. She said it's probably like
a poo size,
yeah, a poo size of the weight that is low. So it's not major, it's not scary, it's not dangerous. They just wanted to keep an eye on it, and to do that they wanted us to stay overnight.
And also, by the way, when he's there, there's nothing special. They're not putting a drip on him, they're not feeding him anything with a pipe.
It was us doing the work. We were feeding him, we were changing him. All they kept doing, they kept coming in, checking his temperature and stuff, which has nothing to do with weight gain. They're just doing that because he's there and they have to do that. It's like, you know, what do you call it? Yeah.
Standard procedure?
I don't think that's the right word, but
They wanted to keep us there, but they said you don't have to stay here, but we're not discharging you.
Yeah.
We're not discharging you, but you can leave if you want. You can self-discharge.
Yeah, because
you can leave if you want.
To stay, yeah.
So we waited all day for a doctor to be told that. So I went down, I got my car. My car was ready there on day 7. It was ready to go. I got the car seat.
That was because they gave us hope that we're going to leave that day as well, though.
Yeah, they gave us so much.
They said, like, oh, you know, hopefully you can go home tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. Like, because they made it seem to be like, okay, most likely you will go home. Everything's fine now. His jaundice level has gone down at a safe level, like, you know, there's nothing more we can do about it and stuff, and his weight level is slowly going up at a good rate and stuff. There's nothing we can do about that either. We just want to keep him monitoring, basically.
So with jaundice, we understand we have to stay here. This is something that they can only treat. With his weight gain, we're feeding him, we're bottle feeding him, Rez is feeding him, we're changing him. They're not doing anything other than coming and weighing him after 2 days or 1 day. So us staying overnight under their treatment, they call it a treatment, but all they're doing is coming checking his weight every 2 days. That's not a treatment. I wouldn't say that's a treatment. So we went home really relieved, really happy. We're finally home. Rez got to breathe fresh air after 10 days. Fresh air after 10 days, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, I wasn't able to like go outside and breathe fresh air, like,
whereas I was allowed to go during the daytime to go out.
You get 2 to 3 hours of a break from your baby. You want to sleep, but there's people and their babies all around you constantly crying, one after the other, like for 10 days straight. Can you imagine? Like, you're just trying to recover with a little bit of peace. Like, obviously you're gonna go crazy, right? You can't get a break from that. You're not allowed to go outside with your baby or anything. They have to stay inside. At that point I was going crazy, and then, you know, I was telling the doctors, like, please, there's nothing that we can do rather than like forcing us to stay here. Can you like not give us a follow-up appointment, like to check him and stuff? And everyone that lives in this country knows that midwives and all of that stuff, like there's home checkups and stuff like that. Like, that was not the last time they were gonna see him, but they were acting like that was the last time that they would get access to his weight gain, to his weight, and checking him and blah blah blah. And I was trying to explain to the doctor that was dealing with our case, like, I'm mentally being affected right now. Like, it's not very good for me. I'm not able to sleep, I'm not able to eat properly. I'm getting so fed up. Like, I can't stay here a night more. Like, I can't do it physically. I can't do it.
That was the breaking point.
Yeah, by that time I had argued with a few nurses, midwives, because they were so rude. Like, it started getting to me. Like, at first you think, okay, whatever, it's just nurses, let them do whatever, say whatever. But there's a lot of nurses that work there, or sorry, midwives, I keep saying nurses, well, some of them were nurses, and they barge in and they talk to you however they want. They don't have that professional mannerism or anything. It gets frustrating after a while. Like, you know, sometimes when people, like, you think, okay, they're having a bad day, whatever, ignore them, kind of thing. Like, but after 10 days of dealing with the same type of attitude, it really gets like frying for the brain. It's very hard to deal with. So yeah, there was a lot of things. It wasn't just that. At that point it was basically pointless for us to stay in the hospital because there was nothing that they were doing, and there was no more to do. Like, there was nothing like more to do, basically. We were literally
other than us to feed him and them to weigh him. Yeah,
basically. No, even then they weren't weighing him like that. They were waiting like every few days. Like, it wasn't every 2 days, it was like every like 3 days. It's weird because they don't like keeping people in the hospital, but with us it's like they didn't want to let us go. They let
everyone else go.
Pointless.
2 other people we heard with their mouths, they said, there's people waiting downstairs for the bed, go, like, you need to leave within 1 hour, you need to quickly go. And then with us they were saying, oh, just 2 more days, stay. Okay, so we went home on day 7, aka day 10. It's day 7 after he's born. We went home, we're finally at peace, we can breathe, our head is finally starting to like ease up a little bit, and then we get a call from a random number. So Rez picked up, and then
the guy says, who let you guys go, blah blah blah. And then I said, well, we self-discharged. You can't force us to stay there because there's nothing going on. Like, there's no, like, he wasn't under anything. he started saying no, he was under treatment, and then I was like, excuse me, what treatment? My son wasn't under any treatment. They came back every 5 hours to check on him, like check on us. That's not a treatment.
Jaundice is a treatment.
Yeah.
The treatment that they've done. Weighing him every 2 days is not a treatment.
That's not a treatment, no. Sorry, but you can send a midwife to the house to do that, or you can give us an appointment to turn up for that. Like, it takes 5 minutes to do the whole process, you know. So why would we stay overnight for you to come every 2-3 days to weigh him? Like, you could give us an appointment for that. It was pointless to stay there. So then he started saying, oh, we need to do his sodium level. It's not safe for him to be at home right now. You need to come back right now. And then I said, well, we're not coming back right now. And we were waiting there all day up until 8 p.m. No single person came for anything, for any checkup, nothing. So you can't tell us that it's not safe to be home, because if it was that emergency, you guys would have came and done it by evening at least. We said, can you give us an appointment to come in for tomorrow, because we're not coming now. You guys should have done it while we were there all day. He said, okay, can you come in tomorrow at 9 a.m? I said, yeah, that's completely fine, we'll come in tomorrow for 9 a.m.
And that just goes to show how much of an un-emergency it was. If it was such an emergency, first of all, we waited all day.
Yep.
The lady came at 5 p.m. and then she disappeared.
Not one word of that. Like,
no,
they didn't mention
sodium, nothing. We were there for 7 days, no sodium, nothing. They pricked his feet 100 times. They took a different test. They never said nothing about. They didn't even mention like he has to take a sodium test today.
Yeah.
Nothing. Before we left, we said, is anything left?
Yeah.
No,
we
nothing.
asked. Yeah. We did ask, isn't it? Yeah. So we said, is there any other tests you need to do? Is there anything else important left? Blah blah blah. They're like, no, we just don't want you to leave right now because we want to monitor him. So that's the only thing they could basically give us. So at that point, obviously, we were like, you know.
Yeah. So
whatever.
we went. So okay. So day 8, aka day 11. So we're gonna call this day 11 from now. 3 days before he was born plus 8 days is day 11. So day 11 comes, we go back in the morning and we're traumatized. Like, we feel like they're gonna capture us, they're gonna take our baby.
We were so scared.
And they started threatening with the social services.
Yeah.
They started saying like, if you guys tried to take him back and there's something wrong, then they were gonna call the social services. And they started saying, you know, we didn't say you could leave, you got us in so much trouble, you didn't sign the paperwork. Before we left, anything left? Nothing. They didn't say, oh, you have to sign this paper to self-discharge, nothing. So basically they weighed him, the weight was fine. In one night he did gain a little bit of weight. They couldn't say anything about that. He probably gained weight because he went home, Rez was healthy, and she could feed him in the comfort of our own home.
I kid you not, that night was the best night ever. When we came home, it felt like we stepped into heaven. There was peace, there was quiet, we played surahs in the background, it was dark and nice and dim. It was our bed, it was comfortable, he had his space, he slept really well, he fed really well, I slept really well, I got rest. Ritz had a peace of mind finally after going crazy running around.
No midwives is barging in every hour.
Yeah, for no reason, literally.
Yes, so they weighed him and they pricked his foot again, they took his blood, they checked his sodium levels were fine, everything is fine, and now they're finally deciding that they're going to discharge us, and they hurried this process up because we ran away. To them, we ran away, so that's the reason why they hurried this process up. Otherwise, there was other people that were there waiting all day to be discharged.
Yeah, we literally witnessed people waiting hours for their discharge paper, and
they let us go first because we ran away, and they tried to make it seem like, look, this is such a fast process, but it was only a fast process because
we took that step. Basically.
So this was a really difficult 11 days for us. That was our 11 days at the hospital, our crazy labor and delivery story time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you made this far, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I think this video is already long as it is. Anything you want to say?
No, we missed out quite a few details to explain why we went crazy as well.
Yeah, there's so much more.
We said the main points, so.
Yeah, and also we're going to be doing a little Q&A. We'll answer all you guys' questions, so anything left, we'll answer on that Q&A. So thank you guys for watching. If you made this far, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And as you know, at the end of every single video, we give a comment shout out to our favourite comment from the last video. So this video's comment shout out goes out to
Adil Hussein.
Thank you for liking and commenting the last video. If you want to comment shout out, leave a nice positive comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. Anything?
No.
We'll see you guys next time, and peace.
Girl, I see your face everywhere. When I'm going out, you'll be there. 'Cause everything reminds me of you. I can't take no more. Girl, I think I'm losing my mind. Try to go to work, but I lost track of time. 'Cause everyone keep looking like you.